Welcome to Domino's Pizza. My name is Ajay. May I have your telephone number, please? So, what would be your order for the day? One quattro formaggi pizza. What size? Medium. And any special toppings on that?
Here.
Oh, hi Ajay.
I'm Ajay from Domino's Pizza. There are 2 quattro formaggi's for you. Enjoy and have a good time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So
My
appreciate
pleasure.
joining in.
Totally my pleasure.
So did our guys get a chance to get a hand delivered pizza from Ajay Kaul?
Handmade pizza. I took personal care because I know this is going to be a tough customer, so I need to make sure, yeah.
Yes.
But all our pizzas taste great, so I hope your guys are having a good time.
Which
having a
pizza did you make for us?
Quattro formaggi.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, 2 of them, veg, non-veg both. So, all your people should enjoy it. Yeah, boys.
Lovely. So now that you've baked, if I can use that term, a great pizza, let's bake a great story and talk about Jubilant Food.
Most certainly.
Why don't you please join us?
Thank you.
Well, so that's Ajay Kaul in our studios.
So I'm envious. You got a share of that pizza.
No, I didn't get a share of the pizza.
Oh, you did not?
No, so I just got a share of the
You
interview,
just
which
chatted?
will, yeah, I
Yeah.
got the share of the interview, which will play right now.
Yeah.
To be fair, when I told him that okay, the interview is over, let's go out and you can have a slice of the pizza that you've baked. He said, well, I'm
nothing
sure that the
left.
pizza is over. And when we got out, yes, the pizza
Sure
was
enough.
over. So that was interesting. But in minutes from now, when you hear the conversation as well, he obviously couldn't talk numbers because the results should be out there in a silent period. So we couldn't talk too much in terms of numbers. But a couple of things which stood out. One was he's an outgoing CEO, of course, but he was talking about how he believed that the store addition, which everybody thinks that might slow down, so on and so forth, and they've consciously brought it down as well. But he did believe it will stay at about 125 odd stores a year, and he didn't think it was impossible to target that X number of stores by 2020. So he said that they'll probably stick to the guidance as well. No problems there. The payback periods would probably stay as it is. More importantly, I think this is the most important part in the conversation. I asked him about how he thought people should value the QSR space, because with inflation coming off, would the same store sales growth be a lowly 2, 3, 4%? He had a very interesting number in mind. Let's hear out a small slice of that conversation. Very special discussion in the 18 Hour Studios with none other than, if I can use that term, delivery boy Ajay Kaul. Ajay, thank you so much for joining in today, and thank you so much for delivering those pizzas as well.
Thank you, my pleasure, totally.
Yeah, it is lovely to have this concept enacted as well.
And they arrived on time, so I didn't have to give them free to you.
Yeah.
30 minutes or less is what we always commit, yeah?
Yes, and you more often than not deliver, yes, as I've seen. My earliest memory, Ajay, if I can start off, is 26/7, the rainy day in Bombay, and everything else was shut. We were stuck in our office, and the only solace was that we could walk to Phoenix Mills next to our office, and Dominoes was delivering pizzas till 11:30 in the night.
Wow.
And it was a fantastic meal that we had then. But let's talk about how are things shaping up from then until now. I think you've expanded a lot. Where do you see this franchisee going from where it is right now?
Look, firstly, using the word franchisee probably is not appropriate because these are all our own stores.
Sure.
We do not sub-franchise,
Of course.
if that may. Look, last 4 years, we have added as many as 150 stores year after year. So out of the 1100 odd footprint which we have right now, more than 50% has come up in the last 4 years. We believe, with a little bit of help from the environment, which is consumer trying to loosen his purse a little bit more, opening anything from 125 to 150 stores every year for the next 4 or 5 years is possible for us.
Okay.
But I would reckon that in 5 years' time, let's say by the time we reach 2020, 2021, hitting 2,000 stores, while I'll not be in the company at that time, is something which we should be gunning for.
Wow. There obviously will be a difference in the profitability that some of the main center stores that have come in at central positions in metros and tier 1 cities vis-a-vis what some of the latter half of the 2,000 stores would do. Is there a distinct difference in returns, and how would the company contain that then?
Look, I would look at it in two ways. One is the amount of investment we may make in each store. It does tend to cost us a little bit more in the big cities than it does in the smaller cities. Our payback period norms are stringent. Over the years, we have stuck to, for the sake of our stakeholders, board and everybody else, and our shareholders at large, ever since we have gone public, is 3 years and thereabouts. Now, it used to be, I'll admit this, it used to be significantly lower than 3 years payback periods, maybe 3-4 years back. Now it is starting clearly hitting the 3-year benchmark and so on. So there is a bit of, I would say, pressure on profitability and thereby payback periods. But look, we are in the business of opening profitable stores. If that 150 number, for example, which we did last year, we have as it is brought it down to around 125 this year, because we believe whatever we do, we have to open profitable stores for the sake of. By the way, all our stores from day one make money. They are profitable from day one at the store level. But their payback periods end up being anything from 2.5-3 years. If it starts going beyond that number, and there are one-off here and there, we are very careful of opening prudently, judiciously only profitable stores. Look, we have to manage the balance. One is the growth versus profitability and keeping future in mind. We believe the consumer story in India is still very much intact. Whatever people may say about the worst years for FMCG, consumer spending and so on. With the optimist in me, I still think we are around the corner somewhere when the customer start going to loosen his purse, especially in our discretionary categories like ours. So whatever I'm talking about in terms of building the company for future 2020 and 21 is something which should happen.
Eating healthy versus eating slightly unhealthy, let me use that term. I won't use the term junk on purpose, yes? My question to you is this: do you see this as a serious challenge to the same store sales growth of companies which make products like yours? I'm not narrowing down on Jubilant individually.
Our average frequency of consumption is 3 to 4 times in a year. So on that occasion of a birthday or of anniversary and stuff, the customer says, if you start talking about health, I would rather be put off from your product than doing it. Let me end by saying one thing. Are we concerned about health? Most certainly. Is it a big threat? I would say no.
An analyst for the sector, how do you think people should value companies in this space? Simply because I've heard divergent comments. There are a lot of people who say that with the inflation rates coming out, you don't expect the same store sales growth to be in the regions of 7-8%. The new normal should be much lower than what the erstwhile rates were.
We believe the trajectory for our kind of category in 3 to 5 years' time is going to be no different from the way it occurred in China. Well, China probably with a degree of 1 or 2 more. I mean, when we were opening 150 stores here for the last 3-4 years, China KFC was opening, let's say, 400 stores. So to that extent, we'll be always one shade behind. But the story can get repeated. I have no doubt in my mind, this temporary blip which we see, while it's got a bit protracted, and that probably is clouding the thinking of analysts, investors, and so on a little bit. It's got protracted a little bit, I must admit.
Quite a bit,
But if you leave the next 3 to 6 months alone, if I have to talk about 2 years, 4 years and all that, I see no reason why the industry should not be growing at a same store level of 10 to 15%, at a systemic level of 25% and thereabouts, which means extra stores and so on.
You don't foresee such a strong store expansion to come at the cost of financials. You don't foresee that stores which get open here on will have less profitability. There is a note that has come in today which says that they have analyzed that the stores that have opened in the recent past, the profitability of all of those stores for Jubilant FoodWorks is a lot lesser than what erstwhile used to be.
I did admit it a little while back.
Is that a big concern for you?
It's not a big concern. All we have to do is to make sure that however many stores we open, like 150 last year has come down to 125 this year. If our analysis tells us that, okay, probably 105, 110 is the right number to open with right profitability, payback within acceptable timeframes, we would do that. Look, this number will never become 20, 30 and 40. It will always be in hundreds and thereabouts. Whether it will be 150 or will it be 110, only time will prove. My personal belief is that while we have scaled down from 150 to 125, only in the interest of generating profitable stores, relatively maybe at a lesser profit percentages.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.